What's going on, everybody? Doc here again.
And I am Slothalopolis.
Lothopolis. Sloth, what are we doing today?
We are actually going to be playing a little bit of the Halo Wars Definitive Edition, but we're gonna cover the achievement called Killjoy to stop 5 leader powers. But we're really going to be talking a lot about Halo Wars 2, something I'd like to delve into. Uh, it surprises me that the Definitive Edition for Halo Wars didn't get more love, like I thought it would, but such is life and the life of a console RTS.
Yes.
But we thought we'd do a little bit of that.
Yeah, so if you guys checked out our first video, like our welcome video, just me on that one, I covered a little bit of Halo Wars there. Talked a little bit about the skirmish wins, which was one of the kind of achievement changes from the 360 version of this game. But if you are new to this game or new to RTS, this is an awesome game. I said in that video, and check it out if you get a chance. But um, probably the best RTS I've played on Xbox, and probably one of the best I've played to overall. I mean, in line with games kind of like StarCraft. Awesome game. Halo universe makes it super easy to pick up and a lot of fun. And like Sloth said, we're going to be covering Killjoy achievement real quick. As you guys can see here, we're just doing a 1v1 private match. And you can pick any map. We found that one of the 1v1 maps, Blood River, probably being the easiest just because there's some pretty distinct locations that are easy to identify. Um, and we're going to jump into it. Really, the only setup you need, the person trying to get the achievement obviously has to be UNSC, and then the person kind of assisting with the achievement has to be one of the Covenant. We found Prophet, I think Prophet or Regret, or probably the Brute are equally easy to use. The Arbiter, I think, might get you in a little bit of trouble because when you activate his, he actually kind of like forward attacks, whereas Prophet and Brute you can control. And you'll see that here when we jump into this.
And also, if you pick the Arbiter, you're a bad person, and we're no longer friends. Um, just because
That
he's the
sounds like a
Arbiter,
little
I
bit of
will
salt.
point out.
A little bit of salt for the 360 version, isn't it?
Salty, yes. The many hours we put on trying to get that stupid running the show achievement. I will point out the achievement description for Killjoy does say it has to be done on Blood River.
Oh, good,
So
good point.
that is
Thank you.
something you will have to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It is one of my favorite maps anyway. If it does help, but we will actually be forced to be here. Uh, the the Prophet has always been my personal favorite leader, because he has the shield right off the bat.
Right.
And I know, Doc, you've always used the Brute. Honestly, they're both great, especially for this. They're perfect. Like you said, they kind of stand still. You can kind of drop the leader power, or the disruption bomb, pardon me, right on top of them,
Right. So
which
just
is
real
always
quick,
helpful.
setup wise, I know you guys can't see Sloth. We'll throw over to his base here in a second. First thing right off the bat, if you're the one assisting, you want to do is build your leader. So that's just going to be your temple right here, what you see, and then the rest of me for the remainder of the game, because leader powers are powered by supplies. I'm just going to build straight supply pads for the rest of the game. Um, and then I'll actually send my scout over to Sloth, but I think he's probably doing very similar to the same, just building supply pads, I assume, because the disruption bomb does take, what is it, 350 supplies, I think?
450.
450. So it not in the grand scheme of this game is not a lot, but when you're trying to just kind of get this achievement done quick, um, that does kind of make a difference.
And if you actually want to send your Prophet over to your land bridge on the right, I'll drop my first disruption bomb.
Oop, I went to the left. My bad. I'm on the left one,
I
right in the middle.
fun little fact. I have L and R written on the tops of my shoes so I don't mess up. Perhaps we could do that for you as well. Uh, we
Oh man.
we're super excited for the Halo Wars 2 beta. It's
Blitz
actually going
beta.
to be the second beta to drop. Yeah, it's going to be the Blitz beta, and I think it's January 21st or January 20th. Pardon me if I'm
Yeah,
not
this
mistaken.
this Friday, so hopefully we get this video up pretty quick. So but 3 days from now you should be seeing some content. We're gonna try and get it out quick. Um, there's been some good information coming out about the game. Again, super excited for the actual release. Blitz is a new mode that they haven't had before, um, and I think is going to be. It has the potential to be very, very fun, depending on the card system and everything like that.
Yeah, the big thing that a lot of people were salty about was the confirmation. I went ahead and made sure, I wanted to be absolutely sure before I perpetuated it. There are going to be microtransactions in
Mm.
Halo Wars 2. Um, and that's going to be for pretty much just for Blitz. If you hadn't seen anything about Blitz, it's basically kind of like a card-based uh, second social mode. If you're familiar with Halo and Halo 5, Halo 5 had Warzone. So you could open cards and get customization options as well as different weapons and things like that that you could only use there. So it wasn't something that interrupted the flow of the competitive game modes. So it was kind of a third uh, fun kind of thing where campaign can be a little more serious and story driven, and then the arena multiplayer was definitely more serious.
Right.
The Warzone was kind of more screw around with some buddies. It seems like Blitz is that same kind of idea. Um, my issue is buying a game, buying DLC for that game, i.e., a season pass, things like that, and then having microtransactions on top of it. I thought Halo 5 nailed it, where everything was completely microtransactions based, but it was not intrusive and it was not absolutely necessary to further the game. So I
Right.
never feel like I had to spend money on it, which is great because I got a ton of new maps and a ton of new game modes, and I spent probably $5 on stuff here and there.
Right.
So that ended up great. Um,
Yeah. I
I
think
also
that
do see.
I was just gonna
Sorry,
say,
go
I
ahead.
think the team's gonna do the same thing with this. Obviously, it's dependent on how fast the cards or the packs, however they end up giving them, refresh, and we'll be able to obviously see probably, hopefully, that system come this Friday. But I see it being very similar to the same. The major difference here is going to be obviously the rarity. Uh, so they're going to assign different rarities to certain cards. That is going to play a significant factor in the actual gameplay. Whereas I feel like in Halo 5, you could just run and you could be a regular Spartan and you could be really good at shooting people, and you were probably going to be okay. Yeah, some of the vehicles
Yep.
did get a little overpowered at times, so having some of that stuff, but you also, like you said, earn those points fast enough to get those packs where I don't think it was ever a detriment. It'll just be interesting to see the balance for that mode, because if there is something slightly more overpowered and people do obviously pay the microtransactions, I think that could push it in their favor. But with this being an RTS and never really having one single unit um, that's really too overpowering, I'm gonna assume off the cuff without having played it. Obviously, I think we should be fine, but obviously we'll see.
Yeah, the thing that I think really helped Halo 5 with the whole microtransactions based kind of idea is that there was a built-in kind of safety valve in Warzone that was your rec level.
Right,
You still had to earn your rec level. You just didn't get to jump in, pop out a Nornfang, and start shooting people.
right,
Um, that that kind of felt like a safety valve to me. I don't know what they're gonna do. You kind of mentioned being able to just be a Spartan and just go ham because at the end of the day, it's based on your skill level, your accuracy, and all that. The RTS, I feel like the units you're working with play a much bigger role than the weapons you were working with in Halo 5.
right.
I don't know. I'm hesitant, but I'm still open-minded. So we'll see. Uh, the, uh, the big thing for me is kind of what I mentioned just a moment ago. Just the need for me to pay again, and then pay one more time for my game. That's that's a source of concern for me. Um, Doc and I have played a little bit of Gears of War lately. Uh, the newest Gears, great campaign. I was really blown away by it.
Hmm.
But every time you log in, you're smacked in the face with, "Hey, you want to buy some microtransactions?"
Right.
And that's after we have the season pass and the standard game itself. So I don't know, man. I'm hesitant. Gaming is a great industry. It's a huge industry, and at the end of the day, it's a business, and I don't demonize that. But I don't know. I still don't feel that the consumers are thrown by the wayside just because it's a business.
But
So it'll be
true,
interesting to see.
true. What I will say though is I think, again, like we talked about Halo 5, I think Gears of War, while they may push it a little bit, and I think that's kind of more in support, just like Halo 5 was in support of their more competitive scene, and just generating a little bit of revenue for that, which again, I have no problem with that at all. I think Gears of War did it great too, where the things that you're getting, um, they don't have a huge impact. They have virtually zero impact on the actual multiplayer aspect. Now they have a little bit more impact than Horde,
Yeah.
and Gears of War 4 is actually something we plan on bringing you guys here as we get the channel up and running because we do enjoy it. Horde mode's awesome. The multiplayer is pretty well balanced and a lot of fun. The nice thing again about those though is just that it's all cosmetic. Um, so kind of like Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. No issue with them doing supply drops. If you want to spend your money and your heart's content on buying the cosmetic stuff for that, because there is some really neat stuff, um, go for it. That's what I say. Go for it. As long as it is just cosmetic. When it starts to actually affect the gameplay, kind of like Infinite Warfare's system did, and
Yeah.
the different variations of the weapons you could get that are now affecting me straight into multiplayer, I think is kind of significant. So we will see. I think I have faith in the Halo, specifically with Halo 5. I think they listened to the community really well. So we will see. Are you ready for a disruption bomb?
I am.
All right. Bring it
And
down.
I appreciate I appreciate you bringing in Infinite Warfare as an example because that's a much better example than Gears.
Right.
Because you're absolutely right. Everything's cosmetic for Gears as far as the multiplayer PvP. And you know what? I'm with you. I don't care. Do what you want. It doesn't bother me, and it helps the pro scene.
Sure.
It probably is worth mentioning that HCS, the Halo Championship Series Season 1, I think had $1 million prize pool. One of the biggest prize pools of any esports we've seen. So, I mean, obviously there's good about that. Having esports grow, I think is really neat. I got up super early in the morning to watch the Rocket League Championship Series last year in Amsterdam because I was on the wrong time zone because I'm a stupid American. But
That's
it
what
was
you
worth
get.
it to me because it was great. That's it, America. But it was super great. Like I really enjoyed it. I like seeing the esports grow, and I know that is a really good way to help them grow. Is those kind of microtransactions. So it I don't know, man. It leaves me kind of caught in the middle. I see the good in it. I see the bad in it. Um, I just I don't know. Uh, if it's done right, you know what? Let somebody else pay for my DLC like they did in Halo 5.
Sure.
Cool, man.
No
Whatever.
problems with it. And like you said, the esports scene growing, communities kind of gathering around the game and showing the support with microtransactions. Again, that's all fine. And again, in my viewpoint, as long as it's just purely cosmetic, no issues with that. Rocket League, another game you'll obviously seen on the channel. If you haven't checked those videos out, um, I'm super terrible. But another game that shows that they're going to give you items after every win up to a certain point. They're always expanding the item categories. They're giving you crates, which you can then obviously spend money to buy keys on. But again, all cosmetic upgrades, cosmetic things, microtransactions there, just supporting the community, the developers and their esports community. Which again, no issues there. It's when, and I hate to keep going back to it, when Call of Duty Infinite Warfare kind of shifts over and is making things that kind of have I won't say a hugely significant impact, but do have a significant impact and almost take the game to a point where if you're a beginning player, obviously you have some skill gap to get through, but then you're adding that skill gap on top of somebody that's paid a little bit more money than you have to be able to get those specific weapon variations. That's where I think you start to get over the line of, okay, what is this game? What are these microtransactions actually trying to get after? Um, so yeah,
Exactly, and to grow the game is great. Um, kind of like the games we've talked about here in the last few minutes, but I don't feel like that's the case with something like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the cash cow.
right,
People are going to spend that money,
right,
and they're gonna buy the DLC for zombies,
right,
and then they're gonna buy the microtransactions to get that cool baseball bat or
right.
whatever it is. So it feels disingenuous to me, and I'm with you. Like I hate to keep harping on it, but I feel the same way.
We will see though. Really quick, back to Killjoy achievement. Just in case you didn't know what we're doing. Killjoy achievement, we're getting it. It's disrupting 5 leader powers in one match on Blood River. We're just doing a 1v1. All we are simply doing is I'm running the Covenant leader, starting on my leader power. He sends a single unit over, drops a disruption bomb. We'll do that 5 times. We'll be in and out of here real easy. The only thing that's the reason we're kind of rambling and there's not a whole lot of action going on, we're not sending units back and forth. Um, Mostly just because the reset timer for the disruption bomb, it's a little bit over a minute, I think, and it feels like it takes a lot longer when you're when you're watching it, doesn't it, Sloth?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. I'm like, come on, you can do it, buddy.
It's almost there. But yeah, still super excited for Halo Wars 2. Obviously, the Blitz mode only being one of the many multiplayer options that we're going to get. On top of the campaign, Halo Wars had an awesome campaign. It did a great job. Neat story gap to kind of fill in some of the time period. And then again, as an RTS, I really don't know. There's not a whole lot, in my opinion, that they could have done better for the first iteration, specifically on a console. The commands, how you
Yeah.
select units, all that stuff felt great. And there's a lot of the Halo lore coming into it, very rock, paper, scissors, like specifically with different unit selections, but not so much to the point where it was overwhelming. If you're thinking about getting this game or thinking about picking up Halo Wars 2, personal opinion, pay the extra little bit of money, get Halo Wars Definitive Edition. I said this in the first video, but uh, once you upload it to your Xbox, you'll end up getting your code about a week later, which gives you early access to this, the Definitive Edition. And you can kind of jump into it and learn a little bit before Halo Wars 2 comes out. But yeah, like we said, super excited for that. Just because I think they're going to expand on all of the best parts of Halo Wars, which makes me really excited. New units specifically, new leaders. I know I've seen some sneak peeks of Blitz mode again, if it's well balanced and the microtransactions don't get in the way. I think could be another awesome multiplayer feature. So we will see. Very excited for Friday and some content in the beta to come out.
And you'll actually get access to Halo Wars 2 a few days early too
Yes.
with the special edition of Halo Wars 2. The game was fantastic as uh, the this first one here, the campaign. The the lore was really awesome for somebody who's nuts about the extended lore like myself. Um, Game was great. The lore really, I felt like, provided a lot of depth and background to the game and to the universe as a whole. The best thing, pardon me, um, to kind of come out to tie everything in, there was a series of short stories that came out
Do you want a leader power
not
real
long
quick?
ago. Yes, sir. And they covered Forge, who was a character from Halo Wars 1, and made it really cool. Like I really like the tie-ins to kind of the extended universe. Having watched some of the background videos, uh, the kind of the Vidocs and things like that for Halo Wars 2, the Covenant leaders look amazing.
Yeah, they do.
Atriox is the leader of the Banished, which is a group of Covenant species that were not part of the Covenant. So we'll kind of get to see some of the dynamics of a group of people that hate the Covenant about as much as we do, and that'll be really neat to kind of to see kind of the distaste from the other side.
Right.
That's something I really look forward to as a big fan of the extended universe.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, should be good. Really looking forward to the beta. Really looking forward to Blitz mode. I know we've talked a little bit about it again, card-based strategy, and it's going to be based again on you get to build a deck up front based on what cards you have in your inventory, and then throughout the game, you'll be able to essentially employ those cards in kind of like a deathmatch type style. Um, and that's instead of building the units, you're using these cards to do that. And they also have specific powers, kind of like some of the leader powers we see here, or some of the UNSC capable powers, like the Mac Blast and stuff like that. So just really excited to jump into this beta. Friday can't come soon enough.
Yeah, I've actually seen some of the dev notes after the very first beta, which was much more standard gameplay uh, for Halo Wars 2, and there was a lot of talk about changing up the accessibility of the leader powers because they were kind of set up different than they were in Halo Wars 1. You could kind of build them up. You got points as you did other things. So in Halo Wars 1, I can build a field armory and I can build up my Mac Blast or my Cryo Blast. Whereas in Halo Wars 2, I think once you got a certain tech level, you were rewarded with a point, and then you used that point in a tree to kind of build your leaders overall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Something I'm really interested to see kind of how they change some of that. I don't know if we'll get a ton, being that it's Blitz, but I mean just excited overall for the end result. I think is something that I'm really looking forward to.
For sure. Super excited for the game. So yeah, so just to kind of wrap this up, like I said, we'll finish this Killjoy achievement. If you're working through any of the other achievements in this game and need any tips or tricks, just go ahead, drop comments down below. We'll kind of leave you here, like I said, this Friday. So as soon as you guys see this, a couple days from now, we'll get some of the Blitz beta up for you, and hopefully be showing you a little bit more Halo Wars Definitive Edition, and then obviously when Halo Wars 2 drops, we'll be throwing content out for that. But yeah, so check us out below. Comments, likes, subscribes, all that stuff helps us out. Let us know how we're doing as we get this channel up and running, and let us know what you want to see more of. If you want to see us jump into some skirmish matches on this, and hopefully defend some hog rushes and then push back, we can definitely do that. We're going to be bringing some, hopefully, like I said, some Gears of War 4, more Rocket League, and some other stuff as we go through. Sloth, any final parting notes?
That's it for me, guys. I really appreciate you watching. Anything we can do for you, let us know. But if not, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, viewers, hopefully you see what's on the screen now. I don't think Sloth's going to appreciate when I walk it over to his face. All right, well, as average gamer guys,
Leave me alone.
we'll check you guys later.